overview of what structured literacy is. Let's dive on in. These are objectives. We're going to define structured literacy, explore the elements of structured literacy and its connection with phonological awareness and reading, define phonological awareness, examine the difference and connection between phonological awareness and phonemic awareness, and discuss levels of phonological awareness. All right, take a few moments to read these questions and think about whether they are true or false. 1. A phoneme is the largest unit of sound in a language. True or false? 2. An onset is the ending part of a word after the beginning consonant. True or false? 3. Phonemic awareness is a child's ability to notice and manipulate the smallest unit of sounds in language. True or false? 4. Phonological awareness refers to the ability to notice and think about sounds of language, such as onset, rhymes, syllables, and phonemes. And 5. The levels and correct progression of phonological awareness are syllables, words, phonemes, and compound words. True or false? By the end of this session, you will know those answers to these questions. All right, so structured literacy is an instructional approach to teaching students to read that encompasses all of the elements of language and has key principles that guide how it is taught. It is explicit, systematic instruction in the structure of the English language. Research has shown that it is effective for all students and especially essential for students with dyslexia. Structured literacy is a term coined by the International Dyslexic Association to describe a specific approach for teaching skills. Structured literacy is the umbrella term used by this association to unify and encompass evidence-based programs and approaches that are aligned to the knowledge and practice standards. Structured literacy is the embodiment of the science of reading in the classroom. Many early childhood teachers enter the classroom with little to no knowledge about strategies and practices that are effective and proven to help children learn to read. Studies conducted by the National Reading Panel found that many teachers lack the content information, definition of terms, components, or methods, and the depth of training that are necessary to provide appropriate instruction in phonological awareness. They state that in order to effect change in classroom practices, early childhood and elementary teacher education programs should include coursework focusing on the structure of spoken and written language, and that such coursework is needed to inform teachers of the theoretical understandings of children's language development and its relationship to reading acquisition. This course is designed to improve your understanding of structured literacy approaches, which emphasize highly explicit and systematic teaching of all important components of literacy. Over the next few weeks, we will take an in-depth look at structured literacy, its guiding principles, and aligned components. All right, so structured literacy puts more focus on teaching the structure of the English language. Below are the key components of structured literacy. We have phonology, the study of the patterns of sounds in language. Sound symbol association, which is knowing that sounds or phonemes are represented by symbols, which are called graphemes. We've got syllables, which are recognizing syllable patterns to aid in decoding and spelling. Morphology, which is knowing the structure and form of words. Syntax, which is grammar, sentence structure, and essentially the mechanics of language. And finally, semantics, really understanding the meaning of text. There are 3 guiding principles of structured literacy: explicit, systematic, and cumulative and diagnostic. Explicit means that concepts and skills are directly taught and practiced. It should not be assumed that students will learn skills and concepts implicitly. Systematic refers to a logically ordered presentation of concepts and skills that progresses from simple to complex. A scope and sequence orders specific details about the concepts and skills to be taught, which align not only to state standards, but also to reading science. Cumulative indicates that new learning is built on prior learning. As underpinning concepts and skills are taught and practiced to automaticity, students' knowledge continuously increases through the introduction of more complex concepts and skills. Finally, diagnostic and responsive signifies that students' instructional needs and strengths are identified through testing, something like that, and instruction is designed accordingly. Students' progress is frequently monitored with checks for understanding, with adjustments to instruction based on that monitoring. The goal of systematic teaching is the automatic and fluent application of language knowledge to read for meaning. Teachers should explain each concept clearly and provide guided practice. Students are not expected to discover or intuit language concepts simply from exposure to language or reading. Pair listening, speaking, reading, and writing with one another to foster multimodal language learning. Structured literacy instruction is informed by the science of reading, which is the only proven way to ensure that students can become proficient readers and confident readers across the curriculum. Although this instruction is beneficial for all students, it is essential for students who are at risk for reading difficulties and those with dyslexia. By implementing the components, principles, and instructional practices that align to both the science of reading and structured literacy, administrators, teachers, and parents are assured that all students will receive the multifaceted literacy instruction that they need for reading and academic success. Here are some important resources that will be linked in the materials. Let's dive into phonological awareness. Take a moment to review this graph. What do you notice? Phonological awareness is the ability to recognize and manipulate the sound properties of spoken words, such as syllables, initial sounds, rhyming parts, and phonemes. It is the foundation of reading and follows a set sequence. Phonological awareness is a broad umbrella term that encompasses phonemic awareness. Children who have phonological awareness are able to identify and make oral rhymes. They can clap out the number of syllables in a word. They can recognize words with the same initial sounds, such as money or mother. Phonological awareness activities are always oral or auditory language activities. There are no letters or words attached to phonological awareness activities. There are 4 main levels of phonological awareness. The first level is the word level. At this level, children begin to hear, remember, phonological is hearing individual words within a sentence. The second level is the syllable level, or the parts or beats in a word. The third level is recognizing words that rhyme, and onset and rhymes. And lastly, there are phonemes, phonemic awareness. At this level, children begin to hear the individual sounds in each word. Phonemic awareness is the most advanced skill of phonological awareness. Children do typically acquire these skills in succession, as development of each skill will often lead into the next. Phonological awareness skills do overlap, and therefore children do not need to master the first levels before they benefit from exposure to higher levels. In fact, it's actually been recommended that once syllables are introduced, the focus should move to the higher levels of phonological awareness. And at each level, children can learn to manipulate sounds in a number of different ways. Blending is the easiest skill for children to master. This skill is followed by segmenting, deletion, substitution, and generating words. Now, let's explore the levels of phonological awareness. At the word level of phonological awareness, children hear and work with individual words. They begin to develop word awareness, which is the understanding that a phrase or a sentence is made up of individual words. It's the ability to manipulate words in phrases or sentences, which includes playing with compound words. Compound words are words that combine 2 separate words to create a new word. For example, house, boat. Compound words can be broken into beats or parts. For example, you might say cup, cake, 2 syllables, or cupcake, which we would also consider 2 beats. Syllable awareness involves activities like counting, tapping, blending, or segmenting words into their syllables. Every word can be broken down into syllables. Every syllable has at least a nucleus, which is the vowel, and most syllables will also have an onset, which are the consonants before the vowels, and the coda, which is the consonant after the vowel. The nucleus and coda make up the rhyme, which is the end, the part that rhymes. And compound words are a good starting point to introduce syllable awareness, as teachers can present two words separately and show how they blend together to make one word with two syllables. Onset rhyme activities involve breaking words into their onsets, which are the consonants before the vowels, and the rhyme, which is everything that's left in the word. The onset is the initial phonological unit of the word, for example, the k in cat. And the term rhyme refers to the string of letters that follow, so the at in cat. So onset is k, at is the rhyme. Not all words have onsets. Similar to teaching beginning readers about rhyme, teaching children about onset and rhyme helps them recognize common chunks within words. This can help students decode new words when they're reading and spell words when they're writing. Onset and rhyme activities also help students to decode word families. Phonemic awareness is the ability to hear and work with individual sounds or phonemes in spoken language. Phonemic awareness is a subcategory of phonological awareness. It is the conscious awareness of phonemes, which is the smallest unit of sound in a spoken word. There are 44 phonemes in the English language. Phonemes combine to form syllables in words. For example, the word mat has 3 phonemes, n, a, t. The 44 phonemes in the English language include sounds represented by letter combinations such as f, or the th sound. Acquiring phonemic awareness is important because it's the foundation for spelling and word recognition skills. Phonemic awareness is one of the best predictors of how well children will learn to read during the first 2 years of school instruction. Phonemic awareness is the most advanced level of phonological awareness. It refers to a child's ability to focus on and manipulate the individual sounds in spoken words. The individual sounds, again, are called phonemes. All right, so let's go back to the beginning and check our answers. A phoneme is the largest unit of sound in a language. True or false? We know that is false. A phoneme is the smallest part of the word, right? An onset is the ending part of a word after the beginning consonant. True or false?